Hello, founders and investors. Welcome back to Next Round Ready. I'm your host, Chris. Today we have special guest Ray Crick from Allegory. Ray, welcome to the show.
Hey, Chris. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
So, before we get too much into your background, I would love to know about the problem you are solving.
Ooh, that's a good one off the gate. We're accelerating capital for world changers. So if you think about the people that are trying to make a difference in the world, whether they're PhDs or whether they're humanitarians helping in a global crisis, that capital that they need is often non-dilutive or grant. And that process today is cumbersome to say the least. And so our mission and our goal is to help get capital to the people that need it in 30 days or less.
I like how simple you have that already outlined and put together. Because sometimes I'll ask founders about the problem they're solving and it takes them 5 minutes to explain that. That's a red flag. But it sounds like you've done extensive research on this particular market. So I'd love to hear more about this problem that you're solving. It sounds so relevant. What's the size of this problem?
That's a great question as well. When you look at the overall capital throughput through kind of non-dilutive funding, there's sources out there that'll say, 1.5 trillion or $2 trillion. And for us, we're not really focusing on the whole thing. We're really focused on kind of impact funding specifically. So that's about a $550 billion business. And when you look, maybe not business, but for us, it's a business. It's the amount of capital that goes through the system on an annual basis. So when you think about $550 billion that goes through this grant ecosystem, whether it's foundations, corporations, or oftentimes people think of governments, there's even other things called donor advised funds. And all of this money goes through this system each and every year.
Wow, that's a lot of money to go through that one system. And so what gave you the conviction that you could build a business around this? Because sometimes there are problems that exist, but I don't necessarily believe that we can have a business for every problem. Or I don't think we're there yet in terms of just humanity, not to get super deep or anything. But sometimes we run into problems where there's just not a solution yet and it doesn't exist in my mind. So I'm like, that can't be a business. How did you get clarity that, okay, I can build a company from this?
I should stop saying good question. So I think for us, and for me personally, I've lived the experience. So I've spent the majority of my career in product at tech companies from a variety of industries, whether it's health tech, hospitality startup. But I also spent 2 years at an INGO, and when the conflict in Ukraine, escalated, and when that happened, there were a lot of people that were in need. And so when I was there, I helped build out our digital systems. And one of those digital systems actually, we were funded completely on grants, and we moved that capital to people along the front lines and in and around Ukraine. And we were able to take cash payment system, and we moved over $100 million to over 100,000 households and people in need. And we were able to go from about a 5-month process to about 14 days. And so that was pretty impressive. And the one thing that I saw that was kind of the bottleneck for us to continue to execute at the velocity we had was this grant system, really. And so whether you're searching for a funding opportunity, whether you're applying, and then once you get that capital, there's this kind of post-award settlement process, which is, takes a lot of time and overhead and multiple team members managing that process across, all of your, if you have more than one grant, it takes a lot. And so I said, man, there's got to be a better way to do this. And I think with AI coming into the world and really kind of taking it by storm, now we're at a place where, these documents, these requirements, 60 to 80 page documents, right? Going across and signing into multiple funder websites to see what's available. AI as a tool can help us throughout the stack to improve our effectiveness in how we can execute that capital really to the people that need it. And so using my product brain, I was like, man, I feel like we could do better. And why don't we go ahead and give it a shot? And so that's what we've been doing.
Okay. So let's get into some of the traction. What have the results been like so far with you taking such a different new approach? Because I imagine with industries like this, they're so reluctant to the change. So you have to break down a lot of walls. It's a lot of people you got to talk to. What has that process been like?
I think from the beginning, we got pretty fortunate. We got a pilot customer kind of right out of the gate. And so we've been building in partnership with them. And so that's been huge for us. So it's not just hypothetically, are we solving problems that actually need to be solved? But hey, we think we found this or we've solved this problem. What do you think? And a lot of that has been like, maybe this didn't work, or maybe it didn't work as well as we thought it did, as it should. But doing it up front and really kind of focusing, I guess, on that human-centered design approach where you're building in parallel with the people that are going to be using your product has made it really, really, I think, effective and efficient for us. We've been around really, we got founded at the end of July and we're here now. And our users are logging in, 3 to 4 times a day. They're saving 3 to 4 grants, right? And so that's a huge thing. And also we're dog fooding our own product, right? So we're out there, we're looking for grants, and we've actually used our product because the first question we always get is, hey, has anyone gotten a grant? I'm like, well, the problem with grants is that it takes like 6 to 9 months on average for it to go from application to cash in your account. We got into 2 accelerators using our product, and we're applying to multiple grants. So we'll see where those land, but overall, we've been successful using our own product, which has been great.
Yeah, that's such a big deal. I find that investors want that. They want to know that like you have skin in the game. So if you can come to them like, hey, I'm using my own product and I'm getting results, it's like it shows that you are like in the domain expertise area. You have that that pain and you're solving it. I think it makes you stand out more as a founder when you go and pitch because you have more of a leg to stand on versus somebody who just has an idea or a prototype. You actually are getting the results yourself. That's huge.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it hasn't always been huge, right? Like we've gone through and we started but like it's cool because, we see things and my co-founder and I, we felt like collaboration should be by default, right? So we should be able to collaborate, invite team members, right? Invite other people that are experts to help us, write a grant. And so we were like, oh, okay, let's just do that because we were running into it over and over again where I've got this thing over here, I've got this, comment here, but how can I get notified? So we try to build those things into the app and use it ourselves for sure.
That makes sense. Okay. So who are your biggest competitors? Like who are the people that you're working against in this space?
I think the first one that comes to mind, I think the one that we kind of look up to is really Instrumental. They were a YC company and they recently raised a pretty significant round last year. And they're, by all kind of intents and purposes, the industry leader, more or less. I mean, you've got other people that are playing in the CRM game. There's Flux, which is on the grant management side. Instrumental's more on the, grant application side. You've got Smart Simple and there's many others. But I think what differentiates us from them is there's a lot of point solutions. A lot of these companies have existed for 10 years before AI really kind of took the world by storm. And so with the overhead and just building out solutions for one side of the problem, no one's really, I think, had maybe even the capacity technologically to look at it on both sides. And I think that's what differentiates us is we're really trying to be that Airbnb for impact funding where we connect people that are looking for grants with the people that are providing them and then vice versa. And we use kind of our payment infrastructure to help really connect both of those sides.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because it sounds like you're playing in the middle to where you can be valuable to both sides. Yeah. And which side are you really prioritizing first? Is it the grants or is it the actual people who need the grants? Because we know how it goes in marketplaces, chicken before the egg. It's always that same thing,
Yeah, so I think strategically the way that I approached it was, we know that the funder side is going to be more of an enterprise level contract that's going to take, 6 to 9 months. And so we knew that with our kind of runway, we weren't most likely going to be able to go after them and execute on them. And so what we decided is we knew with the funding landscape shift last year that the need to find new funding opportunities existed and we could go to that market and help the seekers. And so that's what we've built for our MVP. In parallel, we've been working on partnerships to help get us into the right rooms with funders, right? So leveraging partnerships, people that already have relationships with a lot of these folks. And so, we have some pretty good news that I can't quite announce yet, but that should be kind of our first funder that we'll be bringing onto our platform, which is extremely exciting for us. So, and that is if you're a VC listening to us, that is kind of our hockey stick moment where we believe we can get one, and then that's our enterprise level customer, as well as we do that, multiple times. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. Actually, the last, I think, week or two has been probably some of the most chaotic, but also some of the most exciting for us. We've had more seekers on our platform than we ever have, and the ability to bring on a very significant funder is a very, very important thing for us as a business.
Man, I totally agree on a partnership side because I think you open a lot of doors with that level of distribution. As founders, I'm always telling founders part of your traction early on is to have some type of partnership advantage because your customers are already connected to some other business. Like if I'm an athlete, I already buy shoes, I buy shorts, I have shirts to go hoop in. So like somebody has to sell me that stuff. And then if you have some kind of product you that for the athletes, you connect with people who are already selling the athletes. You just find who's 2 or 3 steps before, and those are your partners. That's like the easiest way to sell any product, and it amazes me when founders don't know it. And it seems like you already have that set up.
I don't know if we have it all set up, but we're working on it for sure. I think that was a decision, right? And when you're, when you're bootstrapping, you can go build out your sales team or you can go leverage your network and partnerships. And so I think we're trying to find the best way for us to acquire as many customers and deliver as much value as we can in the capacity that we have. And that is for sure accelerated.
Okay, okay. So what kind of investors are you looking to work with? Angel investors, venture capitalists, like who are you really focusing on building relationships with right now?
I mean, so we've secured our first angel, so that's fantastic. I think with this new opportunity, we're looking to raise our first round, whether it's, pre-seed, seed, I don't know what the right word is, but it's somewhere in there. And we're looking for people that obviously are interested in vertical SaaS, people that have worked in fintech, people, that not maybe, I mean, I don't know if impact is the right word, but see maybe using, AI for not just, more clicks and more ads, but really how do we actually execute delivering kind of the really big, audacious goals that we want to execute on, whether it's, like I mentioned, I think earlier, the PhD that's in the lab coming up with a new way and to cure cancer, right? Like that's something that we should be moving forward, and that's what we want to do. And if that is somebody that is interested in supporting us on that mission, then we'd love for them to have a conversation with us, with me.
Love this breakdown, man. Ray, I think you're gonna kill it. You're in the right position, I think, and we need to disrupt a lot of these old school institutions and how they work. They're due to just change. AI is the thing that's I think is going to speed all of this stuff up, make it go way, way faster. So I think you're in the perfect spot at the perfect time.
Well, I appreciate it, and just so excited to be like on your podcast or on this podcast. I think what you're doing is pretty cool. Making that connection, I feel like there's kind of a similar thing we're trying to accomplish, right? You're looking at hey, these founders exist, hey, there's these VCs that exist, and you're trying to connect them. And so just me being on here, it seems kind of like a pretty cool synergy. So yeah, thanks.
Yes, man. Yes. And where can the investors find you?
They can find us at allegory.world. And you can always find me on LinkedIn or find us on LinkedIn. We're also on X, not super active. Maybe we should be. But we have a limited amount of capacity to execute. So we're focusing on building and partnering and really growing our user base.
I love it, man. Thank you for being here and being such a great guest.
Cool. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.